Now, let's look at the date and the date task classes. I went ahead again and I copied my hints into my class and I'm going to start working on it. So here's my date program. It says create a class constructor that takes 3 parameters. So let's go ahead and create a class constructor. So let me put this in here and I'm going to keep this here and I'm going to put a comment so I clean up the error. So what it says, let me put up here so I can read this better. All right. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and say create a class constructor. So a class constructor will be public date that takes 3 int params. So int month, int day, and int year. Okay. So here I have my public date and my constructor that takes int month, day, and year. But before I do this, let me go ahead and create my day, month, and year, my class variables. So I'm going to say private. Okay, I went ahead and created all my 3 variables. My class variables, month, day, and year. They're all private, they're all integers. All right, so now let's work on my constructor. In the constructor here, I have month, day, and year. Those 3 are coming from the user input. So when I say new date and I pass a month, a day, and a year, it's gonna fire this constructor here. So in the constructor is where I'm going to have to validate my input, okay? My month, day, and year that I just entered. And how do you validate these values? Okay, you can write if else statements to make sure day is greater or equal 1 and day is less or equal 31. If that's the case, then let's go ahead and set our day variable equal to whatever the user entered, the user day. Okay, else let's set that day to a default value. So how do we do this first if statement, if else? So all you do is if day is greater or equal 1 and day is less or equal 31, I want to set my class day, which means this day here. You see how it's highlighted? It's referring to this day here, equal to my day, the day that the user passed. And you see it's highlighted which day is which. So there's no way to get confused. So if it is a valid day, if the day is between 1 and 31, inclusive 1 and 31, then it's a valid day. I want to go ahead and set my day variable for my date object equal to that day. Otherwise, I want to set it to default to 1. Okay? Now, I'll let you do the month and the year. Okay? How you going to do the month and the year? Very similar. Just translate what my words here, what I wrote here. Okay? Now, we're going to create a method called next day that will increment the date. And here's the pseudocode for that. So how are you going to translate all this here into Java? Well, let's see here, for example. Let's first go ahead and create an array. Now, this array here, what it says is, for each one of those dates here represent a month. Well, we don't have month 0, so the first index of the array is 0. We don't have a month 0, so I went ahead and put a 0 in that location. But we do have a month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The index of the array represents the month. So we're going to go ahead and increment the day by 1. And then here, translate this, okay? Translate this to Java. I'll let you figure this out. So you can have your code working. But be careful. Look closely at what's being done here and translate to Java. Now, the next part of this code here is write a method called toDateString that will return a string of the date in the format May, day, month, day, and year. So how we do this? So here's my method, the toDateString. All I did was exactly what it says. That return a string of the date in the format month, day, and year. So I'm going to return the month, the day, and the year separated by a slash. That's all I'm going to return here. And what month and day and year are those? Those are the class month, day, and year. See, it's highlighted there. Those are my class, my class variables, my object variables. And that's it for the date. Of course, you gotta convert all my comments in here. All right, let's go ahead and save this and leave it like that. Okay, now the date test. I also copied what it's asking me to do. I went ahead and copied here. Okay, so what I can do here, let me go ahead and do the method, my get number method, but this time it's going to return an integer. The reason is because I have here no try catch block, you know. Okay, so I went ahead and created my get number method here that returns an integer, and I went ahead and changed my message. I basically used the same that I used in cylinder test, but I modified instead of double, I returning an integer, and I want the whole message to display. So this way we can get our days, month and day and year here. So what I do here, I change this, and I go ahead and change this to get number, and do the same here, get number, and then the same here. So I do that for all three, month and year, and get number, get number, get number. But the error I'm having here is that get number return an integer, and I have a string. So all I do is here is change this to int. Change each one to int, okay? Now that I change each one to integer, I don't need this here anymore. I just go ahead and pass month, day, and year. So I'll go ahead and delete this. All right, so you do the same. So now I'm just passing the month, day, and year to my constructor date for my new object, okay? Now, be careful here. I've seen this happening a lot. The order of the variables matter. Make sure in your date class, your first parameter is month and then day and year. Because if you have those two swapped, okay, month, day, and year, correct. If you have those two swapped, if you're passing day first before you pass month, oh, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have some issues. So as you can see, there are no more errors in this code. I went ahead and put, comment / by the comment line. And as you can see, I have no more error, and basically this is done. This is it. This is it for the date test class. Of course, when you submit, make sure you delete those comments. I don't need any of this. So that's it. So I have completed date test class. All right. Now you got to finish the date class and you're done. All right, let me go ahead and save this, and good luck.